It was a 50s and 60s version of asking someone what they do for a living, called What's My Line? This award-winning game show debuted on CBS February 2nd, 1950, and consisted of 4 prestigious panelists trying to determine the occupation of a contestant by asking yes or no questions. It was glamorous, it was fun, and it was popular. It ran for 17 years on CBS and 8 more in syndication.
We'll meet our first contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please?
The signature line of What's My Line?
Elizabeth Woods. Right, ma'am?
It's still one of the most popular panel shows ever.
What's my line?
Even if it dates back to some of the early days of television.
But the business in hand is the serious job of choosing the party's candidate for the presidential elections to be held in November.
It was 1948. The presidential conventions were televised for the first time, and TV was on the verge of taking off.
It became reasonably clear, even to dumbbells like us, that this medium was going to be something we'd better learn about and learn if there was a place in it for us, et cetera, et cetera. By 50, we had begun to apprehend that this was a real tiger coming down the road.
John Daly, a CBS radio newscaster at the time, got an offer to host.
Mark Goodson and Bill Todman, who were working for CBS, needed somebody who could talk on their feet to moderate this thing. They came to see me because that's what my training had been.
But CBS had a strict rule.
No CBS news personnel could have any participation in an entertainment program. So I went to Paul White and I said, Paul, you know, this television thing is racing up our backs. This program, Goodson and Todman have told me, you know, it's going to be dignified.
Daly got the green light and began hosting What's My Line from the very first episode, February 2nd, 1950.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. In fact, welcome to our premiere telecast of What's My Line.
A job he'd hold for all 17 years it ran on CBS.
Goodson Todman really came up with the idea of a panel show with celebrities. It really took the place of the talk show and also added a little audience participation game to it. It was just fun.
An elegant game show produced by the successful Goodson-Todman production company. Its accomplished panelists initially included a distinguished psychiatrist, a poet, a Broadway columnist, and a former New Jersey governor.
And we have here the distinguished news analyst, commentator, and our moderator, Mr. John Daly.
Thank you.
The premise was simple. Panelists asked a series of yes or no questions trying to guess a contestant's job. For each no, the guest would get $5. The top prize was $50 if the panelists couldn't figure it out.
That is 6 down and 4 to go, and I think I'm going to let Mr. Feinberg win by default because you're not moving even close to the area. Mr. Feinberg is a diaper company service salesman.
For the final round, the panelists would put on blindfolds and try to guess who the famous mystery challenger was.
Are you a golfer, Mr. Guest? No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Gabriel. Are you a boxer?
Yes.
Miss Francis?
Boy, that sure isn't the voice for it, is it? Are you a man?
What?
Are you a man?
Yeah.
No, I know you're a man. Are you a fellow who was named after a chap that they brought the mountains to by the name of Mohammed? Are you Captain Clay?
Yes.
Through the years, there would be other distinguished panelists. Other famous mystery guests included Lucy and Desi Arnaz, and even Eleanor Roosevelt.
Well, one of those phenomenons. It took off like a rocket.
The show won a Golden Globe and 3 Primetime Emmys. It would have several revivals until 1975.
Goodson Todman's always had so much luck in the game show business, I think because their shows are, I don't think the word's classy.
Its audience was extraordinary. Nehru, when he was ambassador here, brother to the Prime Minister of India, would only go out on Sunday night with a clear understanding that he could leave to get home in time to watch What's My Line at 10:30. Secretary of State was one of its most ardent fans. Equally, I'd get into a taxi or meet somebody at in a restaurant when I was having a fast cup of coffee. And the enthusiasm for it, the sense of participation in it, I'm sure is what made it last.